Hello and welcome to the VR Untethered podcast, where each week we increase the awkwardness of her staring at you until we start talking.
How's it working
That's
for
just bad.
you? Hey, folks. This week is going to be a very different type show, I think, for us, because everybody in our particular group in VR has sort of disappeared from their real world lives and entered the Echo VR arena. So we'll be speaking to you from a slightly altered state of consciousness, I think, for prolonged periods in zero gravity.
Okay. You may have an altered state of consciousness, but my consciousness is about normal.
Oh, okay.
Which is always altered compared to everybody else in a way. So,
right, it is difficult to tell, but based on other people's projection.
Yes. So, let's jump right into our highlights of the week. I have a feeling one of your highlights is going to be the exact same as one of my highlights. So let's start with you.
Okay. Do you want me to start with the one that might not be your highlight?
We're going to be talking about it more in the,
okay.
We can talk about it here because there's no real, it's not exactly a new release yet, so.
Right. Okay, well, my yeah, right. If we don't follow that outline, those Facebook police are coming in to shoot us down. My highlights this week were, other than Echo VR, which we'll be getting to, the new swing pack for synth writers.
Mm-hmm. The electro swing,
yeah, the electro swing. I was like, oh, this is the most ridiculous thing. And then I started playing some of the songs and listening, and it was like, oh my God. I felt myself up and dancing like immediately. Like I wanted to put my finger up and do a boogie like Cab Calloway or something. And they did the walk through Paris, and it was just, it seems like excellent music to exercise to.
Yeah.
So.
And because it's brand new, I am sure I am not anywhere where I was, but on a couple of the songs, I was number 1 on the leaderboard and number 2. So.
Wow. So you got it too, huh? Yeah. It was pretty hard.
Oh yeah. I didn't get any of the paid songs in the pack yet. I just did the 5 free ones.
Right.
So
no, I went with the pack as soon as I heard it, because I know it's going to be difficult to go back. Some of the music is perfect for the rhythm, but I don't really love it. But this music just seems to pull you in, and it's a new experience. Basically, it adds a whole different experience to synthwriters. Also, Dead and Buried 2 got a massive update this week. It went from being a mediocre game to, if it was released today, it would be a $30 release minimum.
Right.
And probably one of the hottest games, of course, other than the fact that Echo VR came out this week. If it had its own space, it would be something that's truly remarkable. And if you read the write-ups, most people that have played the update are just in a state of shock, because it really went from being very basic to not. It's a lot of fun now. Really a lot of fun.
Oh, that's good. Always good.
Always. So I guess those would compromise my 2 highlights of the week, the games that I've played that are beyond Echo VR and new.
Okay. Well, I too tried, obviously, the synthwriters electro swing update, and it was a lot of fun. I used to do swing dancing back in the day, so it's a genre that I like, and electro swing isn't quite the same as regular big band swing, but it's similar enough.
Right. I know it's a very good mix. It's something you wouldn't think would be a good mix, but it does blend nicely.
And I also played Echo VR. It's a horrible game. You should not play it.
Definitely do not join whatsoever, and don't go into boot camp, please.
Yeah, we will. So talk about this more later. But yeah, I'm joking about that. I also tried out Supernatural, because I wanted to try it out so I could actually talk about it, other than just subscription. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that did seem to be subscription at $240 a month, a year rather.
a year.
So, yes,
It's $240 a month. I think everybody would be no.
I think most people are still going to be no. But go ahead, your view.
Yeah. It does appear to be well done. It's got great environments you're in. Basically, I can't quite tell if they're just really good 360 photos or if they are 360 modeled environments. It's based on the real environment. I can't quite tell which one it is. I'm leaning towards it's a 360 stereoscopic photo, but I could be wrong. But it's really high quality, and you can't really see any scenes like you do in a lot of the 360 the photos you can browse. You don't really see any of the stitching scenes, and there are coaches. What?
The graphics, and you're saying how photorealistic they are, that you can't tell the difference between whether they're generated as a 3D. Is it the same high quality as VR fishing, a higher quality, a lower quality?
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
Real VR fishing on
I
the Quest?
don't play that, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that also has a photorealistic environment, so I just wanted to see if it was the same type.
I have no clue.
Okay.
I have not played the other, so I don't know. But from what I can tell, is probably on par. The downside is that while you are doing a workout, you're not looking at the environment because you've got all of these balls coming at you that you got to hit.
Right.
So it kind of doesn't really matter. You only get a second or two to look around at the environment, and then, here come balls.
Okay.
So, but it does seem to be well done. It's kind of like a cross between Beat Saber and Synth Riders, actually, in the gameplay. Mm-hmm. You have two baseball bats, a black one and a white one, and you're hitting the balls with them. But some of the balls have a trail coming off of them. Like, it'll be coming down here, and the arrow will be pointing up, meaning that you're supposed to hit it from the bottom up. And off of the tail, there's a big trail that spirals around coming out of it. With those ones, what you are supposed to do is hit through and then follow that trail around, and then it leads you to the next one where you're coming down at an angle or whatever.
So sort of a synth ridery type rail.
Right. Exactly. So only there aren't extra cool sound effects and whatnot if you hit the trail.
That's too bad.
That's a bigger sound
effect. Parts of synth riders.
I know. It's and the feel of the vibration in the controller as long as you're on the rail, and and this has a lot more squats in it than most Beat Saber or synthesizer songs do.
Okay.
So until this came out, the pistol whip was the heaviest leg workout of the apps. Now this one is probably the heaviest leg workout. It takes you through a calibration where you calibrate your height and it calibrates your lunge to the right, your lunge to the left, and your squat, so that it, in theory, knows where to place all of the triangles so that you can squat and lunge through the triangles.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's well done. I haven't noticed that the coaching actually responds to how well you are actually doing or not doing. It's just canned coaching, which is okay. It's still motivational, but it would be better, in my opinion, if it
Match what you were doing.
right. If they noticed you were missing a lot of targets, comment on, hey, take your time, slow down, concentrate on the target. Don't worry about the squats for now. Just concentrate, or something like that.
Exactly. For that type of price, that's what you would want, is a trainer that's going to say, wait, you're not doing this right, or your position is wrong. Let's start again. Something.
Right. And the triangles that are not a perfect equilateral triangle, but more of an isosceles, those indicate which way you are supposed to lunge. But periodically they have long trains of triangles, and you're going through them like this, and there's a whole section that's triangle after triangle after triangle, and it's isosceles, and then it's lunge left, lunge right, and it's constantly going back and forth, but you don't really have the time to squat, lunge, squat, lunge, squat, So all I end up doing is squat, bring my head a little bit, if I feel the need to, but I was like, that kind of kills the purpose of, that means lunge right, that means lunge left, because you can't when it's like that. When it's one triangle that close to the other triangle, you can't, all you can do is just go straight through the middle.
I guess if you do it consistently, sort of like the way they run through a tire training, when they run the tires in football and stuff like that. But
this would be more like, I don't know, there's a good example coming to the top of my head, but if I were to try to actually lunge left and right and come back to the middle like that, I'd end up falling over and bumping
in the hospital. Right.
So, yeah, but overall, it is well done. It has a good workout. You can pair a heart rate tracker with it if you have one that is compatible. I have a heart rate tracker, but it's not compatible because it's an off-brand Fitbit knockoff.
Right.
So I can't track or pair it with while you are fit either. So I highly doubt I would be able to pair it with this.
Right. Well, you never know. It's always worth a shot.
Now, all that said, I still am not gonna let the $19 a month subscription happen, because that's too expensive. Maybe if this had actual live instruction with an actual live instructor doing a group class every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, where you were all around him or whatever, and he said, "All right, guys," and I gave a pep talk. Any questions or that stuff, and then launched into individualized. I don't have the distraction of the other people visible next to me or whatever, but just workout, and then after the workout, back at the group.
Mm-hmm.
If they were doing something like that, maybe.
And even then, maybe
that would add a lot of extra value to it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And even then, it would still be a maybe, and it's not even at that level. So here's the problem that I see with it. I haven't actually done it yet because I have no doubt that the environment is beautiful. Nobody disputes that. I have no doubt that it's an excellent workout to some degree if you can keep up with it, and if you're basically physically fit to begin with. I don't think it's a beginner's workout.
Well, they have beginner stuff in there. I just tried the one or today's workout.
Right. Which is what most people would probably want it for.
Look for the beginner's workout, but they have varying levels, and they have workouts have different lengths, and they've got like 5 different instructors, all of which do a different type or a different
different style, of course. Well, but the thing that I'm noticing with this game is everybody who's written to say, great game, no way I'm paying you guys $20 a month. Right. Their response has always been, but we are putting so much into this. And it's sort of like, well, that's nice, but I'm not getting that much out of it, which is why you want my $20 a month.
$19 a month is expensive. I mean, but it's about the same price as a cheap gym. Well, true, but at a cheap gym, I get weights, I get rowing equipment, I get stretching machines, I get an infrared sauna room. At Planet Fitness, you get pizza.
I know it's they can't compare themselves to the cost of a gym.
And you get access to those group classes as well.
Right. Oh yeah, I know. It's I think that their pricing structure is definitely something that was not well considered.
Yeah, I mean, for $9 a month or $10, I would say it'd be pretty much a no-brainer if you want, a workout thing like that. That would be high enough of a price to put in that, well, I paid for it, so I've got to use it, sort of thing. But not so high that it causes instant buyer's remorse.
Exactly. And like you said before, the lack of the personalization, even if you were to get an email following your workout that said, we noticed this, and this, we're going to suggest that you try this, and this, or we've put in an app, this particular exercise, which we recommend you training with. Something like that would be at least...
You do get kind of feedback at the end of the workout, but it's all programmatic, and it's basically kind of the same sort of feedback that you would get from a Beat Saber or a Sense Rider thing. I don't know if this is going to show very well.
It doesn't. It's very blurry. Okay, there we go. Back a little. Back. Okay, right there.
Yeah, see? So it shows my accuracy, it shows my strength, and it shows my overall score. And it shows my rating, if I got gold, platinum, silver, bronze, double platinum, or whatever, and you can follow other users and do I guess, competitions with them. If you want to go, oh, he got platinum on this workout, I need to do it again and get double platinum. So it's got that
achievements on Oculus.
That sort of
Right.
uh,
Motivation, feedback, whatever.
built into it as well.
Yeah.
So for right now, I think $19 a month is way too much for it. It's a well-done app, so don't get me wrong. It should be a great app if they either lowered it or they just put it on for a flat fee.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like an app that could probably sell at $40 if they wanted to, or set a different standard.
Everyone who has tried it has really liked it, and if they had it for the same price as Beat Saber, they'd probably get a lot more money than they will with the subscription price, because so many people are going to go $19 a month during the lockdown when I'm unemployed. No.
Well, yeah, I know. It should probably, it's not even a demo type thing. It sounds to me like it's a type of program that should be sold for the $20 or $30, and then if they have an in-app purchase, and give you the ability to buy certain workouts and something along those lines, that would probably be a better model than, hey, throw us $20 a month whether you use it or not, no matter how personalized our information is. Because truly just tracking you, like you say, it's a Fitbit, it's the same thing as Beat Saber, it's the same thing as any of the games. They all track you.
Yeah.
So
it's tracking the same stuff the Beat Saber tracks. How wide your swing is, how accurate it is, all the same stuff. They're just supplying it to a fitness thing, and the only thing that, in my opinion, makes it a bit more of a workout than any of the other ones is that it's got more squatting built into it. But you know what? There are custom tracks out there for Beat Saber, for Synth Riders, that have more squatting.
Right. Not only that, it's like you said, pistol whip, you can squat, you're free to squat as much as you can or want to at any given point. So I don't need somebody actually yelling in my ear to squat. The bullet coming at my face is more than enough motivation,
They're not yelling at you, but yeah, I know what you mean.
I like the action motivating me more than somebody yelling in my ear, go, that type of thing.
So anyways, speaking of Pistol Whip, let's move on to the Pistol Whip new scene update. It's very cool. Okay, moving into...
It is cool.
Yeah,
but at times you do have to... It's weird because the only time you really realize you're on the dirigible is at the very beginning.
Yeah.
After that, it just goes into the corridor.
Well, and at the very end, also, when you KO the captain.
Right, but that's just it. Other than that, you're still just in a corridor with a cooler gun, and that's more, steampunk, and I like it. I like the song, Diesel Punk. I'm still trying to figure out what diesel punk is compared to steampunk, unless it's just less detail. That seems to be the major difference.
I don't know. It's a different era, I think, or something. Steampunk is in the Victorian era.
Right.
Technically. Diesel punk's a little bit more recent in time.
I like steampunk better than, to me, steampunk is a definite Clockwork Orange, two completely different ideas randomly pieced together. But I did like the new tack on Pistol Whip very much, and I think that I'm great that the developers have been doing this, and it looks like they're going to continue. Just drop a song every now and then that has a great. So no complaints with Pistol Whip, no complaints at all with Synth Riders.
It's always a great workout too.
And that's what I'm saying, basically, I think, is what you brought up and everything you said was that You don't need Supernatural VR $20 a month.
Yeah. Now, if you need that extra motivation of I'm paying monthly, then it might be
Then
worth it to you. But for most people, I, I don't know. It's a high price right now, I think. So
It is. It's kind of. I just think the model wasn't really thought through correctly by somebody who was
right,
actually thinking through the
right. I
model.
mean, because not that I can go there right now, but um, as soon as all the lockdown stuff is over and we're just back out in the wild, I can go to Planet Fitness, which is the one like what
A
7 miles
block
away
away.
from me or whatever,
Okay.
and get a $9 a month membership
And
and
occasionally have a trainer.
all of their equipment.
Right.
You know,
And
not just
occasionally have a
cardio stuff,
trainer.
huh?
Right. And occasionally have access to a trainer that might pay attention to what you're doing and help you take the proper form for at least a minute or two. So
Right.
yeah, it's crazy. $20 a month is crazy. I think the
Well,
idea.
to get a personal trainer there, I think I would have to be at the $20 a month membership. But
Right, but look what you just said. It's a
yeah,
$20 a month membership, and that also gives you the aqua massage, and
right.
it gives you a whole
The
bunch of other
the
things.
infrared sauna, yeah,
Right. So if you're going to do the full 20 and we're going to go true head-on comparison,
right.
then it blows it away.
Right. I mean, even
And
the $9 or $10 a month membership blows this away because I have weights, I have a stepping thing, I have the stretching equipment, I have free weights, I have rowing, I have squatting, I have that machine, all those machines I have access to.
right, right. Exactly. I mean, it depends on the workout you want to get. And at this point in VR, you do not get enough physical feedback to
Right.
say that it's the equivalent of a gym. You could say it's
Right.
more intensive than playing Halo, but you
It's a lot
can't
better
say
than
it's.
nothing, but
Oh,
yeah, no, and it is a benefit, obviously. The cardio is a real good the benefit, and this is much more enjoyable cardio than going to the gym and just running on the treadmill for 20 minutes.
right.
You
But
know,
then we go back to Beat Saber, Pistol Whip, and all these
right,
other things
right,
where
exactly,
you're doing the cardio and you're doing everything for an hour and 20 minutes and
right,
enjoying it as opposed to two
right,
minutes into it going, oh my God, how much longer,
right, right, exactly. But then again, when you're doing the cardio on the treadmill or the stationary bicycles at the gym, they have programs in there which increase the speed, slow it down, tilt it up so you're running uphill,
Right.
increase the resistance on the bicycle so it feels like you're going uphill. You can't get that in VR right now unless you are going to an actual VR gym, which also are not open right now.
That's true. I mean, right now, all of these conversations are sort of based on reality returning to a world where we can bring our virtual reality with ourselves, so to
Right.
speak. But
Anyway, I think we've beaten this dead horse into the ground by now.
well, we have
Talk
it's
about
it's
Echo for a
laying.
little bit.
It hasn't been moving at all. It's been laying here for a while.
Yeah. So let's talk about Echo for a little bit.
Okay. Where to start with Echo?
At the
Number
beginning.
one, okay, it's the best game on the Quest, period, I think. Um, I haven't experienced anything like it in any other virtual reality experience because for some reason, well, Josh knows that I am prone to motion sickness, and it took me quite a while to get my VR legs, and I can still get thrown off occasionally. But in this game, which is played in zero gravity at speeds of up to 100 meters per second,
No,
diving,
no. Yeah. Well, no, I think it's more like 50 or 60 meters per second or whatever, which is like 100 miles an hour or
Right,
more.
unless you get the
Yeah.
regrab exactly right, you know, and
Yeah.
then, but it is a feeling that is probably the most immersive that I've experienced yet in VR, to the point where I've let other people in my Discord group know that I literally, when I close my eyes at the end of the day, I feel my body floating up towards the ceiling, and I have to push my hand either against the ceiling or a wall to get myself back into my position because zero
Don't
gravity.
forget that you have to make a fist first, otherwise your hand will just go through the wall.
That is true, but that no, actually, if you put on your auto grab and do a push off
Well, yeah,
gently,
which means you have your
your
fist.
grip button, right?
Yeah,
Your at least your grip button.
yeah.
Your complete fist, you're stunning someone, as you're well familiar with. People know you
You
as the
can't
bruiser.
grab. Right.
But so yeah, I guess it is the most immersive game because whereas I have had dreams of other games, I've never had the feeling while still conscious of experiencing zero gravity in my living room. So I would have to say that the game is immersive. Why don't you take over for a while before I ramble on?
Before you float up to the ceiling.
Yes, just push off here and get back.
So, if you are not familiar with what Echo Arena or Echo VR, as it's called now, I believe, is, you've been living under a VR rock
Maybe an AR rock
in the middle of a VR desert, which is located on a VR desert planet.
in another dimension,
Yes.
in an alternate galaxy.
So, we got into the last few waves of the closed beta. The next step, I believe, is the open beta, where basically everybody who signed up for the beta will be let in. And then sometime after that, they will just finalize it and release it. So it's probably within a couple months, I would say, of actually being there. There are a few bugs in the game still. They're still ironing those out, but 95% of the time, it's pretty stable and it's pretty fun. You know, and we are in the MVR Discord. We've got a small team that is hoping to be able to be good enough to get into the VRML, the VR Master League, when this is able to do crossplay, which they are going to be beta testing fairly soon. I don't know if they're going to start this week or next week, but that's one of those two, I think. They haven't made any specific announcements about when that's going to happen, but I know they are closing the signups for the Rift players to sign up for the crossplay beta. So I think today, Monday the 27th, is the last day for that sign up to happen, or maybe yesterday was. I'm not entirely sure. So that's gonna happen soon, and then we will be playing with the Rift players, and we'll see. I guess if the untetheredness of the Quest and the optimizations that they made for the Quest give any sort of advantage over the Rift players or not. Because we have some of the VRML players that are on the Quest also, and they've been in the Quest beta. So it'll be interesting to see if they go up against other VRML players that are on the Rift, if they think Quest holds up, if it's got an advantage, if it's got a disadvantage. So
Well, for right now, the only disadvantage that I heard any of the experienced players talking about from the Rift platform is the tracking, because it is a super fast-moving game. It truly is. Um, but they were questioning it. It wasn't like they went, "Oh, it's definitely so much better on the Rift." It was like, "I think it's better on the Rift." So but I will say this: I've
It
played it.
depends on uh, individual setup, really.
Right.
How much light you've got in your room and all that. So,
Oh, yes, I know. That's the one thing with the Quest. If the lighting starts going down, the tracking goes out the window. And
right.
that's not a
Or,
good thing since we do play a
or
lot of.
if you lose uh, the, the your controller because the battery died.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm just one-handed.
that's, I know. There's many reasons to have to leave the game. The
you,
worst one, of course,
you
being the
better
black
hope
bug.
when that happens that you weren't grabbing onto something with the controller that died, because if you were, you may never be able to move for the rest of the game. You're like, I'm stuck. I can't push off.
Yeah, there are a few sections in the game where if you get caught in a certain position, you're not mobile anymore, and that is frustrating. And there's something called the black bug, which is when all of a sudden your whole screen goes black. Used to happen, I think, in Rec Room occasionally, and you're just sort of caught behind the scenes, and you just get thrown in, and there's no way out at that point. Some people can; they tap their
Well, uh,
button.
yeah, I had the black bug happen one time when I was in the lobby and I clicked the button for Find Arena, and it said joining match, and then all of a sudden everything was black except for the posters all over the place, and periodic patches of being able to see briefly what was going on around me, and I could hear everything. And my Quest was low on battery anyway, so I just uh, quit the game. But
Right.
supposedly, most people can fix that by pressing the power button, turning the display off for a second or two, and then just pressing it again, turning it back on. But the way you were describing the black bug with everything going black, I'm wondering if you were experiencing a different one.
Well, yeah, I mean, when the black bug appears, it's not, since it is a bug, it's probably not a reliable bug as opposed to
Well, no. What I mean is, um,
a
the
different.
the black bug that they are referring to is one I described. But if you are experiencing a black bug where
Right,
everything goes black,
right.
you can't see anything, then maybe that's a different black bug. I
Well,
don't know.
occasionally I would see like the orange lines from the geom, and I would hear the people in game. So it makes it really confusing because
Right,
you're there, but you're not there. So,
right,
I don't know how to describe
yeah,
that. But
yeah. So
other
anyway,
than when that happens, though,
the
it's
point is
obviously
there are bugs still.
right, right. And you do
So
have to
not
put
quite
up
ready
with
to be out.
them. Say what? Huh?
I said so. So it's not quite ready to be out yet. It'll be pretty
Uh,
soon, within a few months. I'm sure the devs are working hard on it. So
Yeah, they're not only they working hard on it, they're playing hard within it. So I'm sure they're working even harder because they love the game as well. So it seems like everybody in there above the age of 15 is really dedicated towards this game moving
well,
forward.
most most of the players and the staff as well, obviously, are super friendly, super helpful. They're happy to share techniques, strategy, etc.
Try to
Some of
pinch
the
your players
newer
if you're good.
players that are also mostly younger players, as Brad already alluded to, treat this like a playground soccer or playground street hockey, where
Right.
you lord it over your friends and whatnot and go,
Right, just trash talk and just stupid
yep,
stuff, and we really are trying to be competitive. We're trying to run a team game, and they're just basically bouncing off the walls and showing off. So it's a
yeah,
different experience.
yeah,
But we're told that we won't have to deal with that as we keep leveling up and the matchmaking becomes better.
right.
Um,
Yeah, I think it's like level 20 where the matchmaking thing really starts kicking in, I think, or something like that, or level 18, or somewhere around there.
yeah, I've heard different stories about it, but while it's in development, I guess it's going to be difficult to find. But yeah, I don't think they're doing much discernment below level 10 at least. And
Right. So, anyways, it's a very fun game. If you have a chance to get into the open beta, if it's not too late to um, sign up for that, I would recommend it. Um, I would also recommend that unless you are like me and don't get motion sickness at all, you do not enable pitch and roll, because then you will be able to do a somersault, and you'll be able to do a barrel roll, or you'll be able to do a somersault and a barrel roll at the same time, which I have no problem with. It just makes me a little bit dizzy, but Mr. Brad over here, it would probably make him puke.
oh yeah, I was just thinking I couldn't do that without a series of buckets around me, and because I don't know which way I'd be aiming. That's the other thing is some people want to use a mat in this game because you might want to keep yourself in a stationary sort of position, at least know where you are relative to that safe point.
Otherwise, you get this happening. Can you see the band-aid?
Yeah, yeah. So, but
Yeah,
it's very well flesh colored there.
yeah. Um, um, if you forget yourself too much, you might run into real-world geometry.
Yes, you do hear
Not
people yelling "ow."
as forgiving at the in-game geometry.
So
um, but yeah,
I would also
you
recommend
definitely
for
want a big enough play area. I believe the official VRML play space recommendation is 4x4. You probably want more than that, because I've got like a 6.5 by 6.5 area that's encroached upon often currently by my wife and my son and a TV tray, and that's not quite big enough unless I literally keep my feet planted.
exactly. That's exactly what I'm getting at. And yet you still feel your motion. Don't think that that's going to stop you from feeling like you're flying. It's just going to keep you relatively safe from killing the other people in your household or
Right.
damaging your body
Right.
or other pieces of furniture. So,
Like the ceiling fan that's always above me in that room. I cannot jump to catch anything in the game, because if I stick my hand up that high, I am like that close to the fan blades.
not willing to take one for the team, Josh.
Um, so every time Paranim was trying to throw a pass to me, and it was going over my head, I'm like, I can't. You gotta
Right.
throw it low. You gotta throw a low pass to me. I throw it at my feet. I can
I
duck,
know.
but I can't jump.
I know that's the thing is when it goes just past your fingertips, it is so frustrating
Right.
because it's zero G. So if you try and thrust yourself in a direction, you have to correct yourself immediately. And
Right.
there's so much involved, which makes
Yeah.
it so intensely good, I
But
guess.
well, yeah,
Um,
there's a lot of strategy techniques in it, and people we are talking to in it and about it are just telling us about how, yeah, in the early days when it was first out on the Rift, people weren't nearly as fast as they are now. Hardly anybody knew how to pass accurately, and now it's just so fast. And you guys coming into the quest are getting the benefit of all this already, and so you are coming in at a higher level than we were, even in the leagues back then.
right. Well, there's two things to that. Number one, I had tried Echo VR when it had first appeared on the Rift, and it it was an excellent game. It was not nearly as polished as it is now. It was an excellent game, but the tethering, the lack of being tethered in this game is so important. I I don't see how people who are tethered can maintain their superiority for any length of time.
They learned how to, to take that into account. Um, a lot of them have mentioned that they've got a cable management muscle memory. So they
Right.
just know if they turn around enough that they need to turn around the other way to unwind the cable. And some of them use a system like what I have seen Reality Check VR promote, which is
The
a
ceiling track.
ceiling mount that's basically a pulley that the cable runs through, and then it comes down to the headset, and it's got a counterweight on the other end, and so that it's not pulling it off of your head,
But
and
it
you're not going
does.
down too far. You know,
But I know, but it does. I mean, that's just it. Is you guys
well,
know I've had the
well,
Rift, the Vive Port, the Vive, and
if you've got that set up right, which can be tricky, then it shouldn't be weighted so heavily back there that is pulling it off of your head, and it also shouldn't be so light that you duck down and the cable doesn't go back up.
ooh,
So it's a lot of work to get that stuff right. Is what I am getting at.
yeah, no, it
With,
does. And I've never had it
Quest,
work for us.
you
So.
don't have to worry about any of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty much what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
I did have to. I did deal with all of this stuff.
Right.
I've had the Vive set up in the Super Vive, and I've had all of the headsets. And the bottom line is the tether. I don't care how good your muscle memory is, you're still dealing with the
Yeah.
tether.
Yeah.
Um,
And also, I've heard probably most of the VRML players that have tried this on the Quest saying, I don't think I'll be going back to the Rift for this. I'll be staying on the Quest.
right. Oh, I could see that for
Yeah.
sure.
There
Yeah.
are um, there are some that went the other way, but those are fewer and further between.
I guess that's what you're comfortable with, but like I said, I would think that 95% of the players who play without a tether were going to find the
Yeah.
experience more pleasant than those that do have a tether.
Yeah.
Just, just
Yeah.
common sense. And it seems like virtually every game is better without a tether.
Yeah. So, hi, now that we have used up 48 minutes and 45 seconds as of now of our recording time, let us get into the new releases. Supernatural, we already talked about. Synth Rider's Electro Swing update, we already talked about. We have not yet talked about Box VR new workouts, but they released at the same time as Supernatural, a bunch of new workouts and updates and whatnot, which is, as I believe Michael pointed out, good timing on their part.
True, if they wanted to remain relevant at all.
It's a subscription-based thing, and then end up paying $240 a year, or you could just pay $25 and get all of our updates.
Right. It's up to you.
Right.
Certainly your choice.
Right.
Although I will say that Box VR has always fallen a bit short for me. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it also has workouts, and it's got classes, and I think it's got coaches or something too, doesn't it? I haven't really.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So no, it's got a lot of the same stuff that Supernatural does, but that's going to be cheaper in the long run, at least on a yearly basis, unless they release a lot of updates throughout the year. Yeah.
I know. That's the thing is, once again, I think Mikey had pointed out that if it was a daily update and it was personalized, it would be a great experience.
Well, yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, there is a new workout every day in Supernatural, but again, it's canned. Everybody gets the same workout.
Right, which makes it useless in that respect. Right,
right.
As far as personalization.
Yeah. Anyways, we also have a highly anticipated game that came out called Pixel Rip 1995. I have been too busy with Echo and going in for like 6 hours a day over this weekend to check out Pixel Rip so far, but it is one that I am going to get and I'm going to play. It's made by obviously the same developer as Pixel Rip 1989. Which is not on the Quest, and I'm thinking that unless they put it on Side Quest, it's not going to be on the Quest. I could be wrong. Maybe they'll be able to work it in as a prequel of some sort. I don't know, but
well, 1989 is based on 8-bit games as opposed to 16, right?
Well, yeah, that's why I said a prequel.
Right. Okay.
As the 1989 would come in after this one on the Quest, so it would be a prequel, not a sequel.
Well, but it would be a prequel on the Quest because it already exists as the first.
Talked about.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's exactly what I said. Exactly what.
Okay. Now we're understood.
Put your thinking hat on today, did you?
No, I didn't. I left it in the other room.
Okay. So, anyway, this is the Pixel Rip 1995 is a sequel to 1989, which is only on the PC VR right now. However, as a little side note, if you, I don't know if it's, I think it's no longer available, but had you taken advantage of the $27 annual subscription to Viveport that they did recently? Pixel Rip 1989 is on Viveport, so you'd be able to do it for free if you had Link or Virtual Desktop.
I recommend Viveport to people that have never used it either. It's certainly worth a year's subscription, especially at that $27 price, if that's still holding. Yeah,
I think that price is no longer available, but it's still not a bad deal. It's like Netflix for VR games, basically.
Right. You know? I mean, I had it. Well, unfortunately, that's both sides of the coin, which is a large variety and a lot of crap. So.
Well, that's true of Netflix too.
That's why I meant it's exactly like Netflix in that respect, you know. There's a lot of games there that are like, okay, now I understand why they're here on, but you'll also find some gems, some real gems. So I think it's certainly worth it for at least a month or two if you haven't.
Yeah. So anyways, the Fiscal Rip 1995 is, it looks like it's in some different environments. You're at home, you're in an arcade, etc. But the basic idea is the same. You are recruited by Dot and the other game characters to save the video game world from the evil Cylon Lord. And things from the game end up bleeding into reality and vice versa, and you have to cause distractions, avoid distractions in order to keep playing the game and not have your mom to take it away from you or whatever. And so it's got a lot of the same elements, but one concern that I've heard a lot of people voice about it is that it's easier than the original game was.
Yes.
And I can understand that. You don't want it to be too easy, but looking back at my childhood, 8-bit games in general were a lot harder than 16-bit games were.
Yes, they were.
So it kind of fits.
I guess it does, but the rumor was sort of that Oculus made them dumb the game down a bit.
Maybe, I don't know, or maybe they learned from the feedback on the original game and they made it a little bit easier.
Right.
Because they got too much. Oh, I'm stuck here and I can't move past it. Sort of stuff. So I don't know what all the details are, but yes, Oculus is very heavily involved with any game that launches on the Quest.
Yes.
They have their own QA people constantly testing it for at least a couple months. They've got people available for you to contact and say, "Hey, how do I do this? This isn't quite working. Can you help me figure this out?" And all that sort of stuff. So yes, they were heavily involved, and possibly some of their feedback influenced the difficulty level of the game, but it should still be a fun game because I've also heard that it's got more depth to the story.
Okay, well, right.
So it may be a little bit easier in terms of gameplay, but it's got a better storyline.
And story-driven can really make a game completely different as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. So. It sounds like it's an excellent game, and when I get it, I will thoroughly enjoy it, and then I will be sad once it's over.
Well, I will be waiting for your thumbs up or mid-level or whichever before I purchase that one.
And part of the reason I will be sad that it's over is because there are no upcoming titles this week, as far as we know.
Perfect time for Phantom Covert Ops.
That's coming out in June
23rd. Yeah, I think June 23rd.
So, even though we don't have any titles that we know of for sure that are coming this week, we do have a sort of Gargantua update coming our way with a 10-player lounge and whatnot for you to be able to hang out in before starting a multiplayer match. So, as I believe you were mentioning in the pre-show, kind of like the Echo Arena lobby, where we just hang out and we're waiting for the match to start and all that, and flying around, to bumping into things.
Right. And they do have practicing around in there as well, different weapons. Plus, they've also added emotion now, which is going to be interesting to see how they did that. Of course, they have that in Echo as well, where you have a little button on the side of your head to express something. And it's really great to see them putting in the little touches. You know, they get the game working, they get the mechanics working, and then they just take it to another level. And sometimes it's a little thing, and sometimes it's big.
Yeah. So, and we have Stride coming out summer 2020. Basically a VR Mirror's Edge clone. So it's a parkour type of game. It's got sprinting using your actual arm motions, like a few games do, and regular walking with just the thumbstick, and climbing, jumping, and gunplay, etc. And it looks like it'll be a fun game when it comes out. I believe it is PC VR only, but link the VR desktop. Yeah.
Right,
So,
exactly. And they do acknowledge that it's not something new, but that the smoothness of the game and the, I guess the quality of the game is supposed to take it to a level above any other parkour games that we've played.
The article I was reading about it was saying that it looks like it is shaping up to be the game Mirror's Edge wanted to be. I never played Mirror's Edge, so I don't know. But supposedly the gunplay was not very good in that game, or it fell short somehow, but VR gunplay is usually pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so it's another one to be looking forward to if you like that sort of stuff, and I do. So,
I would hope that they actually add, just on a side note, Echo Combat to Echo Arena, because that, talking about gunplay, is, that's when it gets crazy.
Yeah. Yep. So if they got that on the Quest, I think that would be the first MOBA on the Quest. Massively multiplayer online battle arena, I think is what it stands for. Games like Overwatch, Paladins, etc.
Right. And it's going to be difficult because it's keeping track of so many things. You don't, when you play, you'll understand about how many things have to be kept in mind by the computer as you're playing, that are all moving at these insane speeds.
Well, a lot of that is relatively simple because unless there's a change in your direction or your speed, it doesn't need any other updates, really, as far as that goes. I mean, it needs hand position, kind of voice data, and head, all that, but it doesn't necessarily need that much more information than it normally would in any other game, really. All the games need the hand position and the head orientation and all that, and because if you think about it, you're in 0G. So if I launch off at 4 meters a second going that way, I'm going to keep going that way 4 meters a second until I bump into something.
It definitely has the reaction.
So it only needs to know how fast I'm going in what direction, unless I step on the air brake, or I reach out to another player and I launch off them, or whatever, or if I get stunned. But those are all brief moments of data sent. So, but yes, it is overall more complicated than some other games that don't use physics at all. But I don't think it's really. I mean, just sort of how Gargantua uses physics on the swords and whatnot.
Oh, right. No,
So,
but still not at the speed. Not at the same speed.
well, yeah, but that like 1 byte more. Or
No,
whatever.
I understand for a computer it's not
Yeah.
that much more, but for a human, the
Well,
speed with which
yeah.
it's being calculated seems incredible.
Yeah. Speaking of failing to calculate speed and all that, let's jump into the news and talk about Magic Leap's massive layoff.
Oh my God, yeah. Magic Leap is right down the block for me, literally, about a mile south of me. And
That's a
they
good
went,
walk.
yeah, it is. Unfortunately, when you get there, it'll be closed. Um, yeah, they laid off 1,000 people this week, and they pretty much killed off their consumer market, which
Yeah,
those
they
six
are.
people are going to be upset.
Yeah, they cited coronavirus and lockdown and all that stuff, but in reality, they were struggling before this, which is why they were trying to do a sell-off,
Hmm.
and nobody bought them. And I mean, I don't want to bash them because they have a good product, aside from the overhype to before it and the kind of bordering on dishonest marketing about it. Yeah, but they've been doing a lot of innovative stuff with it. I mean, all of the AR stuff is highly innovative stuff, and I hate to see them uh, just sort of looking like they are sinking, because part of what is going to drive Microsoft with the HoloLens to keep improving their product is having a competitor. And right now, Magic Leap is the only real competitor until Apple gets in the field. But
Yeah, I think by the end of this year, I don't think you're going to have to worry about competition in AR. I think we're
yeah,
going to be seeing a tremendous amount of competition. It's going to be more battle ridden than a scrim in Echo VR. It's going to really be a lot of people entering the arena.
right. And speaking of Magic Leap being innovative, I saw a video put out by BBC News. They're talking about a go-kart place where they used Magic Leap with the go-karts to play an augmented reality Mario Kart while you are going around in the actual go-kart. So you are racing your friends in reality, driving through the go-kart race track, and at the same time, you have that's something that you are shooting the augmented reality enemies with.
Right. Which you could find at a few Disney rides as well. They have added, well, not anymore. I mean, they're closed as well, and so is
Right.
Universal. But once again, it's like somebody asked me, well, where can I see this? I said, well, when Dave and Buster's reopens,
You can see it in YouTube videos right now.
right, exactly. Or if you feel like coming over, or if you know someone
Right.
who owns a VR headset,
Right.
then, but short
Just
of that,
be prepared to be sprayed down with Lysol first, and then you can use that.
just don't inhale when the Lysol comes your way. Just don't
Yeah,
inhale.
well, here where I am, we would not be allowed to do that because we are not allowed to visit other residences that we do not own. So, yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out the social distancing thing with groups of less than 10, but you can't visit your mom or your cousin, but I
Right.
can see 9 other people in my social group.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. Yeah.
And it looks like a lot of people are starting to just get spring fever, and I'm noticing
Oh, this
traffic
is
is
gonna be
picking up. Oh, well, yeah, between the two,
yeah.
but I don't know. I'm just hoping it's not just sort of like, okay, everything's really cool, and then in two
Well,
weeks from now, we're both
um,
wearing our masks as we're doing the podcast.
right. Well, it depends on the governors and all that, but that's really out of the scope of the video we're
That's
doing.
true. That's true.
But yeah, another bit of news is Art Reality Studio in California, I believe, is or I don't know if they're currently shut down because of all this. Well, actually, no, because okay, they are giving artists headsets and computers to let them create VR art, and it's like $10,000 worth of stuff that they. Uh, I'm not sure if they're giving them to keep or if they're just giving them for the duration while they are creating an installation or what. But they give it to them so that they can be working in their home and making this art stuff in VR. So that's a cool project and all. And VR art is not like any other art that you've experienced in reality because literally anything could happen. Like I went to a VR chat museum one time where they had a bunch of real world art pieces, and they had like an Egyptian room, they had an ancient Greece room, and they had an Asia room. And in the Asia room, one of the statues in there you can point at and you get an interactable thing. So you pull your trigger, and now the head of the statue turns and looks at you, and then as you move around, it literally turns and follows you throughout the room. And the only way to make it stop is to click on it again. Only that this time, instead of marked touch, it's marked apologize.
Okay, well, yeah, it's amazing what they're able to do with the VR museums. The best one I've been in so far has been the Dali museum that allows you to walk into the paintings on a couple of them.
Yeah.
That's a trip and a half.
Well,
They're a
yeah.
trip and a half when they're
Years
flat.
ago, on the UVR, there was that Salvador Dali experience where you're
Right.
going through basically on rails, going through something that's combining many of his paintings into a Dali-esque
Yes,
musical experience.
I took that ride. It was great.
That was really cool.
I love Dali to begin with. It's just amazing when you go to a museum and you see Dali's paintings, and some of them are like this big. The way that
I
you've
know.
always seen them is this huge thing, and you're picturing it in your mind like a mural, and it's a postcard, and you're going, "Oh, okay."
Right.
But
Yeah.
same with
And
Madrid.
we have a final two bits of news. Now that we are officially 13 minutes over our usual time, we have Wire-reality or Y-reality. I'm not sure which way you are supposed to say it. It's like wire and reality combined with the RE shared. So it is yet another system that is being worked on to allow for feeling like you are actually grabbing a virtual object. Only this one, instead of outlandish like claws on the back of your hand thing, it is something that sits on your shoulder at this point, anyways. Who knows what the final product would look like? And it's got strings coming out of it that go on these little sensors that go on your fingertips. And when you reach out and you make the contact with an object in VR, this thing here then locks the string so that you got the pressure pulling back on that, so you can't keep going into the object.
Right.
So how practical that would be for more than just a demo, I'm not entirely sure, because what if I'm holding something here and then I want to reach over here, now I'm going through the string.
Right, I know. We've seen that in several games too, that, there are parts of the physical being that are missing,
Right. So I'm not entirely sure, and even though it's not the claw on the back of the hand thing that we've seen other people working on, it's still a really awkward and probably expensive thing to do, and I don't know how realistic it would feel, because I don't think it's going to give you any texture sensations. It'll just make you stop.
Right.
So
sounds like it could be part of a prototype of something else, a component as opposed to a final product.
Right. Now, in theory, I've never experienced it, but I know that with the Joy-Con controllers with the Nintendo Switch, and I think with some of the Apple haptics, it's supposed to be able to realistically simulate the feeling of something like a ball bearing rolling around. Like, it actually feels like a ball bearing rolling around on the phone. Or the Switch stuff evidently has really fine-grained haptics as well. So if they were able to miniaturize something like that into a fingertip thing and combine it with something like a claw or the shoulder pulley system, then you could lock the fingers in place on the object, and also say be able to do this and feel the ridges of the bottle thanks to the haptic.
Right. I think we're a little while away from that.
Yeah, I don't think that's quite possible yet, but in theory, if they were able to miniaturize it enough for that, then I could see that being a possibility, and that would almost make it worth hooking yourself up to a weird exoskeleton.
Yeah, well, to me, it's funny because when you said that it was shoulder mounted, as you're describing it and what you wanted to do, it really sounds like something that should be wrist mounted as opposed to shoulder mounted to make it more realistic. And you'd still be able to give it I don't think you need a shoulder type length of some cord to pull back on your finger enough to stop you from passing through an object. I think you could do that with your wrist, But it's an interesting concept, and there's so many different things being thrown out here. Some of them will work, and some of them will sound crazy and be the way we go. So,
right. My computer is running a little slow right now, but I'm pulling up. I should have left it open in my browser, but I was closing tabs so that our podcast would hopefully not have issues.
Right. Hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's here we go. Engadget had the article. I want to pull up an image so I can then share the screen real quick. But while we are doing that, waiting for that to load, I can mention. Oh, here it is. So, where's my control? So we are.
Okay.
There you go.
Hard at work over there.
Okay. Is this sharing yet? There we go.
Well, I'm seeing the same. Oh, there we go.
Yep. So it's on her shoulder, and all the strings coming off to the wrist, the knuckles, and to the fingertips.
Ah, see, when you said it, I originally just pictured the fingertips. Now that I see the entire contraption, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. I
know,
mean, it's a nice idea, but yeah,
right. But now that I've seen it, yeah, it's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Well, wow,
Prototype
fantastic.
stage is, yeah, kind of, yeah.
I was really thinking it might be something that worked there for a while, but now when I see the cat's cradle that it forms with your body in order to.
Yeah. Now, imagine if you're holding something like here, and you have to get something from over there. That massive cord that you have to.
Now I understand what you were saying. It's yes, you have to weave your way through the cords in order to.
And I would hate to imagine what would happen if you got the cords from this hand tangled with the cords from the other hand.
Or if one of them just snaps back, and that
Yeah.
would be, God, it looks dangerous. It looks more dangerous than.
Yeah, go. I'm holding this here. Oops, I accidentally snagged that there. Oh, no, now I've got a jammed finger.
And now I'm thinking also, right? But I'm thinking, okay, well, that's a great idea for the blind to be able to see sculptures in a certain exhibit or something like that. And then I'm thinking, COVID on my mind. It's like, how many people are going to stick their fingers in this contraption in order to be able to use it? And all of a sudden, it becomes like, no, that doesn't seem like a very realistic method.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
It's a prototype system right now, and I, if that's what they want as the final product, I think that would not sell. But as a prototype system, maybe, I don't know. No, it's if they can fine tune it, get rid of the problems that we immediately saw. Yeah.
Between you and me, if we were in charge of a project like that, it's dead. I'm sorry, that's DOA. Yeah.
So, the last bit of news, Facebook has been researching a new way of typing with hand tracking using pinch type. It looks like other alternative fast typing methods that have been put out there for the PC and whatnot. There were, I know there's been a project before where you've got two separate pieces, and you can put like one on one arm of your chair and the other on the other, and it goes by grouping letters together and whatnot, and predictive typing. And the Facebook pinch type is a similar thing. You are grouping the letters by which of your fingers you are pinching together, and then it uses predictive text, autocorrect, whatever the heck you want to call it, to figure out what word you are typing. So, like, if I wanted to type the word "the," I would probably have to use my right index finger to do T, and then H, and then E. But that could also, and that would be fairly accurate, because there aren't too many things you could do with THN and EDC to make a word with two coming from the THN line, but
Great. I know, but
as you get longer words, it would get more complicated, and there'll be a learning curve. But they are saying that right now it's like 12 words per minute with it, which doesn't seem that fast. But then when you just think about why you don't try typing with your hands in VR, you're like, oh, that is a lot faster. Because typing with your hands right now is like T.
right. Yeah, I still use the pointer for typing.
Yeah.
I mean, the controllers, it's just
Yeah.
so much quicker to point your trigger
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah, it's a lot faster that way. And it will probably still be faster than this. But people are working on hand tracking games. And in those hand tracking games, you may need to type in an account name and log into it.
Right. And some of those are very advanced, what they're doing with the hand tracking. So yes, and
Yeah,
they'll probably be the one to actually come up with the answer.
Having this would be a good idea.
Right.
It's not going to be the faster unless people prove the researchers wrong and type it like 20 words a minute or whatever. But
Right.
my guess is it's not going to be yet faster than using the controller.
Right.
And using the controller is not going to be as fast as actual touch typing. Excuse me.
Right.
So,
yeah, we'll see. It's just an interesting, once again, we're talking prototype concept as opposed to something that's being put into use. So
exactly. They are researching it. They are testing it. They are improving it. As far as I know, it is not out yet. And it I think it's a promising line of research. As I mentioned, there have been other products using a similar idea. Like some of them, I mentioned the one with the two boxes that you put on the arm of your chair or just out in front of you. Or I think there's also been a couple that are like you are wearing it somehow, and you hold down your thumb and then do this for one group, for this, or So that's going off of those ideas. It sounds like.
it sounds like they need a new idea.
Yeah. So.
It sounds like a new prototype is needed. They just seem to be jumping off the same thing. It's almost like the Princess phone, which was still using a roto dial as opposed to going to the push button. It was like the in-between step. So that's what I feel this is, sort of an in-between step between typing in VR and what we're doing now.
Now, what would really be ideal if they allowed voice recognition typing.
Yes, absolutely.
That'd be better.
There's no doubt about it.
But they don't even have voice commands working yet on the Quest.
I know.
I keep getting that updated, but I can't use it. They keep updating every now and then, installing. I'm like, okay, I still can't use it.
I know. I get that also, and it did work for a while. No, don't get me. It did. I think one day it did work for about a half hour. So.
Okay. Whereas when I was using my Gear VR, I had voice commands. I could say, "Hey Oculus, launch virtual reality," and it would launch it.
Right. Well, I could do that now with my Echo, and I could tell it to launch a game specifically on my Xbox, and it will launch the Xbox, the game, and everything from one command. So
Right. But I don't know why, but they don't have that enabled on the Quest yet when they've already had it working on other platforms that they had. So I'm not quite sure what the holdup is, why that's not turned on yet, but
why did it take them a year to make Dead and Buried 2, which was their premiere game for the Quest, into something that was a real game?
Why has it taken them 5 years after turning off rooms to get Horizon up and going?
Oh, you don't even know it's 5 years. It's not up and going. It could be 8 years.
I know. Never know.
I like your optimism, but
I'm talking about the future here.
This is Josh, 20 minutes.
5 years from now, it'll be up and running.
Have you seen the commercial where the guy pops up and he goes, "You're going to get that loan in 10 minutes and we're going to land the Googly account or whatever." And then the other guy, he pops up and he goes, I'm the one from 10 years from now and we're going to get this account. And some guy pops in, the same guy, and I'm the one from 25 years ago. What did I miss? It's like, so, sorry about that. It just seemed to me.
I have not seen that. It's a commercial. I don't have actual live TV, so we rarely see commercials.
I pay not to see commercials on Hulu and CBS. I literally do. To me, commercials are, especially in Florida, every commercial is here. This drug, right? Every commercial is this drug is going to help you get rid of your bad skin, your bad stomach, or whatever. And it's also going to cause you to hemorrhage, die, bleed out of your eyes, concussions. Ask your doctor if it's right for you. It's like,
this antidepressant medication will help you feel better, unless it makes you suicidal.
Right. I love that one. The antidepressants this has been known to cause suicidal tendencies. If you're feeling suicidal, let the doctor who's prescribing you the antidepressants know you're depressed.
Yeah. Well, that's
okay.
A whole nother change, not appropriate for here, but unfortunately, that's a side effect of almost all the antidepressants.
I know.
Which is, yeah. So anyways, that brings this show to a wrap, I do believe. So, if only I had wrapping paper here to use as a prop. That would have been a good idea. So next time I will have a prop ready and I'll wrap my head and wrapping paper when I say he has a wrap. Otherwise, see you later. Remember to like and subscribe, coerce all your friends to watch us, and laugh at how unintelligent we are.
Please, but keep the laughing down to a snicker. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a great rest of the week.